before the game, you go out and you warm up for an hour, and I come in, and all of a sudden, one of the coaches says, hey, Coach Parcells wants to see you in the coach's office. And so I'm like, okay, that's different.
Bill and I got him in a little old room, like a closet almost.
And Jerry's like, Tony, come on, sit down right here. And Bill's sitting there with a little bit of a scowl on his face. Put this chair in. Right when I'm about to sit down, they kind of pull the chair in. So now it's like all three of our knees are touching right next to each other.
And I had both my feet kind of on his toes, and Bill was sitting there almost a half an inch from his ear.
It's about the most intimidated I've ever been in any sort of a setting in your life.
So we were squeezing him a little bit to sign the deal.
Bill says, I can't play today. I can't play today. I mean, we're not gonna showcase you for the rest of the league. You out there, you play well, and you're a free agent this year, and you're gonna go play somewhere else. I'm not gonna let you play today unless you're gonna sign this contract that we offered you.
He was so composed. He was so good. And he looked me in the eye and he said, I'm gonna get to play when you've got an investment in me. The one you've proposed doesn't really make the kind of investment in me that I think will get on the field. I need to get on the field.
And so Jerry looks over at Bill and they look at each other and they're like, okay, I think we're gonna do the contract that you want. And I was like, okay.
I shook his hand and said, that's done. He walked out of that door and Bill jumps up and grabs me and said, we've got us a quarterback. Said, man, did you see that composure under this kind of pressure?
Ooh, I can't believe it. Ooh, she up on me. On me. How's that T-Pain song go? Yeah, I can't believe anything I see. Plus, I can't believe anything I hear. It's your boy B Jizzle and special guest. I thought I was going to be solo today. Shout out to YouTube. Shout out to Facebook. I thought I was going to be solo today just on YouTube, but we added Bob and we're on Facebook.
Can't let it happen.
Yeah. So what do we make of this social media mess that's going on? Bob, did you see what the Lion has posted in the last 24 hours? Just take a look at Exhibit A.
Sorry, I just got a little cross with my wires here. I have seen what's going on in social media, man. And I know, as someone like yourself and other people who have been watching this kind of game for years, knows this is all part of the dance, man. Don't let the fact that you don't know how the Dallas Cowboys organization works let you forget that Jerry is the kind of person that likes making these kinds of things happen. So the social media move, that's just one in many, many lines of a player's negotiation. Now, you have to understand that they're going to do all kinds of things visibly in order to put pressure on a team to sign them. And that's exactly what's happening right now.
And you said it right, baby. We got negotiations. That's what we're in the middle of today, as this show is the art of blockbuster negotiations. This is Oscars over Lombardi's part 2, baby. This is how it goes down. I mean, are y'all not watching the Netflix special? Everybody's watching the Netflix. Even the haters are watching the Netflix, baby. This is the art of blockbuster negotiations. So grab your popcorn, get comfortable, come tune in. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. Welcome everybody to the show. Green Bed is on Facebook. You already know the deal. If you're tapping in here today, we are talking. This is the pre-game. Because we do have a game today. We're going to get to that here in just a minute, but we got some stuff to get through on this Micah Parsons situation. So I'm going to pull up some more examples as we give some shout outs. What up to our fans tapping in? What up, Facebook and YouTube? We see out there Top. But Top becoming a household name, Bob.
Yeah, buddy.
Top out there, boots on ground at the Ravens game. Top out there at the Star in Frisco at training camp, baby. That's them boots on ground fans out there, baby.
That's how it goes, man. I think we got this shared out in OAT too. So you should have a bunch of people getting here and linking up here in a moment.
Yeah, shout out to Domingo in Florida. He says Michael Rep says he didn't say that. Yeah, we're going to get to that here in just a second. That's a great segue as we get into did you hear or did you see? Because Michael put this on his Instagram in the last 24 hours. Believe nothing you hear and half of what you see by Edgar Allan Poe. But let's listen to what Jerry had to say, because Jerry had a mouth to say what Michael Irvin. Did you listen to that video, Bob, between him and Michael Irvin?
Listen, if it's got Michael Irvin attached to it, I'm probably watching it. I'm attached to all of his channels, everything he does. That's my favorite all-time NFL player and Dallas Cowboys. So yes, I did see it.
There we
go. It was, when he says it, you got to believe it, but maybe not this time.
All right, here it is. We got Exhibit B up. This is Jerry Jones and Michael Irvin talking about the Netflix documentary, but then the famous words everybody's heard over the last 24 hours of stick it up your, you know what, we'll just let Jerry, I don't want to steal his thunder. Y'all listen in.
The highest guaranteed player ever on defense is what he's been offered. When we wanted to send the details to the agents told us to stick it up our ass. Mike and I talked, and then we were going to send it over to the agent. We had our agreements on term, amount, guarantees, everything. And the agent said, don't bother because we've got all that to negotiate. Well, I'd already negotiated. I'd already moved off my mark in several areas. We've had the negotiation in my mind. The agent's trying to get his nose in it and try to come in there and improve off the mark that we'd already said. He'd be the highest guaranteed player ever on defense. Is what he's been offered.
All right, so there's Jerry talking to Playmaker right there. Bob, I mean, what do you make of that after hearing that again? Are we really buying what Jerry's selling, this, you know, Micah Kool-Aid now? We got blue Kool-Aid now, and now we got lion flavored Kool-Aid. Are you drinking the lion Kool-Aid?
Listen, man, if you're an agent and you tell Jerry Jones to shove it up his something, you're already an idiot. So we know that didn't happen. As a matter of fact, Jerry just tells on himself. If you rewatch what we just posted right there, Jerry's going to tell you, he basically told me to shove it up my ass. But it's not at all what he said. What he said to you is, we have a deal that we want, and we don't like the one that you are presenting right now, which to Jerry Jones's ears means shove it up your ass, Jerry. So he's just going to take that as shove it up your butt. Anything that guy said other than yes would have been you telling Jerry to shove it. And so I think that's something people got to understand when it comes to Jerry. If Jerry doesn't like what he's hearing, he's going to put it in the category that he wants to put it in and take it as how he's going to take it. So he took that man saying, I understand whatever conversation you had with my client is a conversation you have, but this piece of paper I have is what I want my client to get. And since I represent that person, this is what we want you to do. And that to Jerry is the same thing as shove it up your butt. So that's what we've got to understand.
Yeah, it sounds like narcissism and triangulation, but hold that thought. Here is Micah Parsons' latest Instagram profile. He's removed the Dallas Cowboys from there. He's put TBD. Now, does that to be Dallas or does that to be determined? Y'all let us know. What do you think TBD is actually saying here?
Tampa Bay, dude.
Tampa Bay, dude. Is that where he said it? Rusty's tapping in, and Rusty says, but who do we believe? It's not a matter of about who do you believe here. It's not a matter about do you believe Micah? Do you believe Jerry? What you need to believe is watch what this guy is doing. You know what I mean? If you study this business model, you know we've been to this movie before. Last year's movies, like this year's movie, just wasn't that dramatic, as it just took a special turn because just 48 hours ago, we had the insider, Adam Schefter, talking about the Real Housewives of the NFL and the divorce between Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys. And then 24 hours later, we got Coach Shoddy in the media saying, you know, he's going to be a Cowboy. I think everything's going to be okay. It's not a matter of who you believe. It's just stay tuned until we get ready to kick off on September 4th, because just like Dak got signed in the 11th hour, just like CD got signed in the 11th hour, we're going to see Micah Parsons get signed in the 11th hour. And if you're a Cowboy fan and you're really drinking the trade Kool-Aid, oh, man, we got bigger problems.
Listen, at this point, you have to understand this is a movie, like BG was just describing. Do not pay attention to the actors. Pay attention to the story, because the story is going to tell you exactly what you need to know. The story has been the same with when CD was the dude, when everyone in history of the Dallas freaking Cowboys, if you were anything important to this team, you had to go through this type of negotiation. It's obviously evolved since the modern days, or to the modern days of social media. So any lens you have on any player right now, as soon as a negotiation happens, they pop all the brands off of those lenses so that everybody looks at that and goes, oh, no, it don't look like Micah's going to be in the Cowboys anymore. It took his name. Dude, everybody does that. Every single person in the last 10 years who has been going through heavy negotiation with their team takes the branding of their team off and makes them think, I guess that makes them say, oh, no, what have they done? Well, all they did was they hit delete and they deleted some photos. That's not a commitment. You can put those things back up. But that's part of the game right now. And that's something I think everybody needs to understand. We don't necessarily know actually what's going to happen, but if we want to judge the Cowboys based on historic performances, which is what we can only do, We have to realize that this shit has happened with every single high value player that we've decided to put into a negotiating situation. So this isn't really big. This is just something that's going to happen. Does it suck? Yeah. But what if Micah was told 4 months ago, this is what's going to happen over the next 4 months?
Here's the playbook. Hold that thought as B-Mac is tapping in right now. Shout out to B-Mac, always tapping on the shows with us, baby. Says, I think he offered him the contract, but I don't believe he said it in those words. I believe that too, because we all know that Jerry love to put some cheese on extra cheese on a Coney long dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He likes cheese on his Whataburger.
I mean, he even told us he likes to put cheese on it. When nobody's talking about us, I like to go out there and stir it up per se. Freddie's tapping in. He says, look, all this will end because Micah has no choice but to sign the deal he agreed to it. But now we've got the crowd that's moving in. That's the honor your contract crowd. Here comes the honor your contract. You have a year left. You're not going to get an extension. You need to come in and you need to play and honor your contract. What do you think about the honor your contract crowd that has entered the chat, Bob?
You can feel all you want about that, my friends. Love you. You're a Cowboys fan, love you. Not a Cowboys fan, still love you. It doesn't matter. You can feel all the way you want about that, but that's not the way that goes. That's not the way that goes. It's what you think as a contract, because if you've ever been held to a contract in your life, you probably didn't get a chance to renegotiate the 5th year. You know what I mean? It didn't work like that in real life. It doesn't work like that in business situations all the time. But that is part and parcel with being in the NFL now. Young folks know if you don't get a bag now, you're going to get a bag later. You just got to figure out how to get the bag. And one way is playing really good, in which case I think Micah has kind of done that. But at this point, you can believe all the theories you want. The way it is just the way it is. And this is part of a big old game.
It's part of a big old game. And let's enter Exhibit C. Is if you've been keeping up with the NFL Netflix documentary, The Gambler, most Dallas Cowboy fans, especially in the Dallas Cowboy area, know a guy named Dale Hansen. You've heard of him before, right, Bob?
Dale Hansen, hell yeah.
Yeah. Let's listen to what Dale Hansen had to say, because y'all know Dale Hansen, he's like a good version of the Skip Bayless, I like to call. Let me see. Do I got this up here over? Let me add it to the stage. Here we go. Let's listen to what Bob Hansen had to say about Jerry Jones on the Micah Parsons situation.
Said to him live on the air over at Victory Park when we were over at the studios. Mm-hmm. And my question to Jerry was, can you name a team in any sport, that would hire you to be their general manager based on your record, unless, of course, you bring your checkbook with you? Hey. Name me a single team. Can you do it? He goes, yes, I can. And I looked at him. I said, I'll wait. Now, it felt like I waited like 15 minutes. I probably waited about 12 seconds, if that. But you know how dead air is. And I'm just staring at him. And he's kind of blubbering around. And I said, Jerry, that's my point. There's not a single team in any sport that would hire you to be their general manager. Woo! Not a one. Woo! And yet you insist upon being the general manager of one of the most iconic franchises in all the sports. That's my problem with you as the general manager. That's why the Cowboys can't get back to the Super Bowl. We finished the interview. John McKay and Gloria Campos have both swallowed their tongues. They're about ready to throw up in their mouths. They're stumbling to pitch to a commercial break. Jerry stands up. I then reach out to shake hands and thank him for the time. And he just slaps my hand and storms out. And I called Rich Dalrymple, the PR guy, the next day. And I went, what was that all about? Because I've said some harsh things to Jerry's face. And he just rolls with it because he loves the publicity. He just does. And Rich Dalrymple says to me, you sliced his Achilles tendon. You exposed him to the one thing that he knows he can't answer. You exposed him, and it really set him off. He said, our drive back after that interview was maybe the maddest I've ever seen Jerry Jones. And being the idiot I am, I went, well, then I guess my work here is done. I said,
hey, I mean, think about that. Dale Hansen taking shots at Jerry. Jerry having to hold that L on the way out. Y'all let us know down there in the comments below what you thought about that. But Top's tapping in, bringing some great context here. Jerry agreed to pay Parsons. The agent got upset because in the beginning, that's the price Parsons wanted. An agent upset for the act fact, Jerry digging it around. Well, what if I told you Jerry Mugoleta and Michael Parsons was all complicit? Would that make you think differently about the situation? Because why does a narcissist, and this is just, I'm familiar with narcissist behavior, like Jerry, why would he go and triangulate Michael Irvin with this whole stick it up your ass conjecture? I want y'all to think about that here today as we talk about who to believe or not. It's not who to believe. It's like Jerry told us. You got to read the tea leaves.
Yeah, man. And like you said earlier, don't pay attention to what he says. Pay attention to what he does. And what has been going on lately has been going on for a very long time. These are the negotiation practices that we do. And it's a tough thing to watch, man. But after you've been seasoned to it, I think, first of all, I think it's super important if you're a Cowboys fan, you need to be watching this Netflix special. And not for any other reason other than I was watching this saying to myself, what the hell are they going to tell me that I don't already know? This is the peak of my Dallas Cowboys fandom, was this documentary that they're talking about, the very beginning of all this between the the last three Super Bowls we won. But it's super important to watch it to see how Jerry thinks, because after you watch this documentary, nothing should surprise you anymore. Absolutely nothing should surprise you about what's going on with the Dallas Cowboys, man.
And if you're just joining us, no, go ahead. I'm sorry, Bob. Go ahead.
What Dale just said about him not being a fit general manager is something that everybody knows. But to hear that guy say it and to see Jerry, or to see that Jerry might have been pissed off at that, is to understand that it's all about control. And he can do what he wants with something that he put, $100 million into or something like that. And that's just the way it is. I don't know. It sucks. It sucks to be used to it.
Well, yeah, if you watch the intro video, if you didn't catch that intro video, remember when Bob, Parcells and Jerry Jones cornered Tony Romo literally in a chair and punked him into his contract, per se. Most Dallas Cowboy fans that have kept up with this team remember, maybe have seen that video floating around. Yeah, that was on our intro video. I mean, Jerry's no stranger to controversy and contract negotiations.
It's still a business, man. Everything, even though it's a salary cap, it's something that hits a bottom line. It affects your future, and that stuff like that you got to pay attention to, man. And he tries his best to lowball as any business person will.
Anais is tapping in. That's a familiar name. Anais Lawn and Yard. Sound like we got a landscaper in the building. He says, if Jerry isn't going to pay Micah this year, then maybe he should make a trade because Micah will feel comfortable. Look, first of all, Jerry is no trade. He's still on a 1-year, 5th-year option. The Cowboys could be real shitty and tag him or something like that and not give him an extension, or he'd have to come in and play. But there's more to that as we get into game day here today. But Micah feel comfortable coming back next year when every team will be throwing out money. You know what? I had to think about this. Maybe Jerry is using this opportunity to really see who wants Micah the worst around the league. Because we're all of a sudden now hearing about all these trade offers, whether they're true or not. But the Joneses have not came out on record, or the front office has, unless I missed something, Bob, they've not came out and confirmed teams have contacted them about trading for Micah. I mean, Jerry talks openly about, if some team calls with X, Y, and Z. I mean, is there any record out there of any official reports of any trades coming in? Or maybe is Jerry just testing the market to really see if he could get a Herschel Walker trade 2.0?
Well, I honestly think that once that information was thrown, so when Micah sent that first initial tweet out, I'm done with the Dallas Cowboys. That's when everyone started saying, oh shit, maybe this is real. And then they're going to start putting packages together. They're probably not going to be adding players to that, because if you start doing that at a time where there's no actual negotiation, those players might get hurt. There might be a bunch of weird shit. Feelings hurt. There might be a bunch of weird shit. But I want to add a little context to something as well. We're talking, let's just say this did happen. Let's just say the Green Bay Packers gave us 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick. Let me tell you what position their first-round picks for the last 10 years have been. Starting in 2015, which they didn't have one. We'll go to 2016, 27th, 17, didn't have one. 2018, 18th pick. Then they went 21st, 26th, 29th, 28th, 13th, and 25th. Are we to believe that our man is worth 2 late first-round picks and a second-round pick? Are you kidding me? There's no actual way that trade would be worth it. So I want to just throw that out right now and let everybody know. Whoever thinks 2 first-round picks, if you think that's the first pick in the first round, then you're insane.
Yeah.
That's going to be the 20, 30, whatever it's going to be. That's not worth thinking about. But it's definitely something to think about because people are going to throw firsts at you for Micah Parsons. You have to.
Yeah. So if you're part of that honor your contract crowd, I want to hear from y'all down there below. If Micah should honor his contract and come in and play, let us know. Because Kels adds some more some context here. She says Micah's already been paid this year for $24.5 million and now is in jeopardy of forfeiting his fifth-year option. That's worth $24.5 million. So there's a lot at stake. But going back to what I said here a couple of days ago, and even Micah, and this is echoing off of what Troy Aikman said about leverage when it comes to Jerry Jones and the Micah Parsons situation. You know, the Cowboys, we're not going to beat the Eagles night one without Micah Parsons. That's just how I feel. Especially after 2 games. We ain't even got to the pregame today for Atlanta. Maybe some things turn around today, but we'll be talking about that at 4 p.m. on the West Coast with my girl Kels, and she added some context here. We'll be talking about that. But, you know, this whole, you know, Troy Aikman came out and said, you know, the Cowboys can't win without Micah Parsons, and I agree with him 100%. We're not going to win against the Eagles without Micah in game 1. So, Jerry, are we really that controlling where we're going to now affect? Because this is a division game. We got back-to-back division games with Philadelphia and then New York. Those are critical games for us to become playoff eligible by winning the division, you know, and making the playoffs. Is Jerry willing to put all that at stake? I don't think so. I think he gets re-signed in the 11th hour, just like Dak, just like CD. This is the art of blockbuster negotiations. I mean, this is more drama than last year. Remember, he told CD go on timeout in Florida, and I'm going to deal with Dak, and we had to deal with Dak. And then we waited all camp. I was there at camp waiting for CD to show up. No CD.
Pay attention, guys. Listen, there's not a lot of shit going on right now in the league. This is preseason. This is garbage time, man. This is back in the days. Nobody watched this shit. This is something that's been spoon-fed to us for so long that we think we need to pay attention to it, and that's not necessarily the case. But in these slow news times, Jerry is the absolute master at keeping the Dallas Cowboys at the forefront, much to the chagrin of every sportscaster who has to have a note to put in front of him with that Dallas Cowboy star, because everybody hates Dallas for some reason, yet somehow we have the biggest fan base in the freaking world. That's the reason why. Jerry puts us at the forefront all the time. It's great for the brand. It's great for everything.
Or was it like we were talking back in the green room before we got live here? Is it, you know, Jerry been waiting on that direct deposit from Netflix as Netflix has launched now. Had Jerry just been waiting on the Netflix deposit to hit so he could pay Micah, so he could write Micah that check? I mean, he had to, I mean, it was all kind of worked out timing. We were in LA. They played the Rams. They was on the red carpet. Like, look, if you don't think there's already a playbook that's already in play before we even see it hit mainstream media, you need to turn on your notifications. As we talk about this here further today, we'll be live at 4 o'clock talking Falcons. The Falcons are coming in to visit the Cowboys today. What are you looking at first and foremost today as we kind of shift here to the Falcons game on Friday? And you're more than welcome to leave our comments down below on Facebook and YouTube as we, you know, get through this Micah Parsons situation. Let us know how you feel down there below. But how are you feeling about this Atlanta game? What do you think is going to be the key to this game versus the other 2 games we've seen from the Cowboys?
As you can see underneath Bob the Cannabis Cowboy logo right here. Sorry. I am a bit worried. I'm worried about a few things. Now, Micah's obviously a big one, but when it comes to this game, I'm moderately unimpressed at Milton and what he's done at the offense. If I'm being honest, it just nothing's been clicking. And again, we can say that it's preseason and it's not really great, and every team struggles. Well, not really. Lots of other teams' systems seem to be working very well, but we also have to understand this is the first head coaching position this man has had. There's a lot of firsts popping right now. And what I really wanted to see throughout this entire preseason, which is only 3 games, was Jaden Blue running. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to see that. Tonight, apparently, we'll at least get a shot at it. But that's something that I think we need to see. I haven't seen any running backs on this team make me feel like we've got a starting running backs that's going to actually be able to handle the load. I'm really worried about running backs, really worried about cornerbacks, and still very worried about stopping the run in a scheme with our scheme. So tonight is hopefully going to be more of a dress rehearsal. Maybe I don't know what starters are playing tonight. What's going on with that?
it's going to be interesting, but I don't think we're going to see any starters. But Blue did come back to practice this week as the training camp shifted from Oxnard to Frisco. So he did practice. He did interview with the media. He is playing, so I'm assuming we're going to see him the first series. So I want to know in the comments down there below as we shift from the Micah conversation, as the comments continue to roll in, let us know how you feel down there. We're talking about this blue Kool-Aid that's being served up in Dallas. Not only are we getting this Lion Kool-Aid, this Oscar Kool-Aid, it's the Jaden Blue Kool-Aid. I think we got to get out faster in this first quarter, and we're going to talk more in depth about this with my girl Kales at 4 p.m. on the West Coast, 7 p.m. on the East Coast as the game kicks off today at 5 p.m. The Cowboys are hosting the Falcons. We're talking in depth more about that over there. But yeah, we got to get out faster in this first quarter. Like, we had 0 yardage between two first preseason games, total yardage in the first quarter of both games. Like, there's no other slower you can get out than going negative or 0 in the first quarter.
Yeah, that's just, it's a situational thing. It's not getting off the field, scoring, and doing what we need to do. It's a lot of weird stuff, man, and it just hasn't looked very well. And you don't really want to see that in preseason. Granted, you're seeing it from your second and third string players, which is fine. But you want to see systematically something successful. You want to see play-wise something that's working. And at the same time, you also don't want to show your hand. So it's a very confusing thing to watch preseason and get any gauge of what's going to happen, because normally it doesn't apply at all. All we're seeing is the evaluation of players and coaches during this time. So, we're hungry to watch real action, but none of this shit counts. None of it's real. And we can easily start off, 7-0 for the first 7 games because we're just so damn good. We don't know that. Or we could start on another thing that we don't like, another number we don't like. So
yeah, let's not go there. Let's not go there right quick. Let's not go there. But in other news, any Post Malone fans out there, as if you're no stranger to the Cowboys fan base, and know that Post Malone is not only connected to the Cowboys, but he's a big Cowboys fan, and he's getting ready to launch his tour, and he's campaigning to open up at where else you think, Bob?
that's good stuff. AT&T.
Yeah, AT&T Stadium. So you did not hear, any Post Malone fans out there. We know Posty's a big-time Dallas Cowboy fan. Actually, I think his dad works for Jerry Jones, if I'm not mistaken. So just in some other news there, as we get to the Falcons versus the Cowboys. Yeah, we got to get out faster in the first quarter. I'm excited. Maybe we see Blue. Now, I'm not hating on Blue. As I've shared, I told Bob in the green room backstage, I predicted 2 busts with the Cowboys. I think Jaden Blue is a fantasy football trap, and I think George Pickens is a fantasy football trap. And you draft them, you might not get much production out of them. However, I hope I'm wrong. And I told Bob this backstage. I'd rather be wrong because I know my team will be winning, especially if Blue is going off or if we're bombing it to George Pickens. So, but I know you said you're not playing any fantasy football this year, right, Bob?
No, I retired, man.
Yeah.
Last year was the last one. And I've been getting a lot of people like, "What's up, man? Come on, get in here." And I'm like, "Come on, I wasn't that good. You just need another person in your league, man. Don't try and trick me." No, it's the game for me. The game is just too different for me to be able to apply what I've known this whole time for it to work. But at the same time, I see why people still get wrapped up in it, and it keeps the NFL rolling. It keeps the money coming in, man. Everybody, if people weren't playing fantasy football, there'd be a lot less interest in the game, man. It's just a fact, man. It's been around for a long time, but the digital version of this whole thing is really what blew it up. And so I see the attraction, but I just get too frustrated, man.
Yeah, I hear you. If you're following me here on Built Different Group, or if you're on YouTube and you're a beginner fantasy football player, I invite you to come over to get some free information on my Patreon. Yeah, we just kicked off the 101 glossary. So if you're brand new, I know my guy Bob, he's not playing. He hung up his cleats. If you're just putting on your cleats this season, I'm going to put this link down there and below as I've got my first women's league. Shout out to all of the ladies who are playing in my first ever beginner fantasy football women's league. I'm really excited about that. You can learn more about that on my Patreon. The link is now in the comments below. Yeah, I'm not drafting any Cowboys. Well, I'll take that back. I would draft CD Lamb.
I get Ferguson. I might take Ferguson later on.
I would take that back. I would take 2. I think I said this before. I would take Brandon Aubrey, which he ain't going in the last round. Most people taking Brandon Aubrey round 5, 6 rounds. I definitely going to take CD Lamb because I think CD Lamb, him and Dak healthy all season. You got to think about that as we shift a little bit to the CD Lamb. What was your thoughts about the NFL brethren ranking CD Lamb 35 out of 100, Bob?
I think the real issue with people's hatred for the brand is the tactics that Jerry uses to get our star up in front of people's faces. So I think people get tired of giving even good players on our team credit over and over and over again. It doesn't really mean anything to me, man. It really doesn't, man. I think as fans, our opinion about them really should matter more than another player's opinion about another player. So I don't know. That shit doesn't get to me at all, man. I mean, I think CeeDee Lamb is a top 3 wide receiver. Anybody in the NFL right now would pay big money to have. If we were having this conversation about CeeDee right now, we'll be talking about some real trades rolling in. A lot of people be like, yeah, bring that dude in. He's a monster.
Yeah, if you're just tapping in, and let us know down there below as we're on the art of blockbuster negotiations. Yeah, it's Oscars over Lombardi's in Dallas, because I think that's what it was. I think Jerry was waiting on that Netflix direct deposit to hit so he could actually pay Micah. But yeah, I think that's criminal that CeeDee was ranked 35 out of 100, but I'm not upset. I mean, that's kind of how it goes. Either you trolling the Dallas Cowboys or you're denigrating the Dallas Cowboys, because only people that are big up in the Dallas Cowboys are us fans out here really in the trenches holding it down, 10 toes down, baby, you know, not shifting around per se. And, oh, let's trade Micah. He's not worth it. His agent should fire him. Like, some people are really drinking this Kool-Aid as we kicked off the show, and we shared it here with you. Don't believe half of what you hear or anything you see, to something to that effect. Let me get that quote back up that Micah Parsons himself put on his Instagram. Believe nothing you hear and half of what you see. Don't let your timeline program you into thinking that's literally what's going on.
And we've joked about it a couple times so far on this episode, but I want to be clear with everybody. As per the NFL rules, you cannot play and compensate an NFL player with any money from anywhere other than the NFL salary cap that you currently have right now. And there's no way to put your own personal money into that salary cap, because if that was the truth, we would have 73 rings at this point, because Jerry would have bought all of them. It's just something that just can't happen. And that's actually, as far as I'm concerned, that's a pretty good rule, because really, if we're talking about who's got the most money, then that would make it unfair for everybody. So you can't pay anybody. The Netflix shit has nothing to do with it. But at the same time, I think mentally he's probably saying to himself, all right, I'm going to get that money in my pocket. I feel a little bit better now. I'm going to spend some of this Dallas Cowboy money. We're going to get Michael Parsons out here to do what he's got.
Not Michael.
To do what he's going to do for us. Michael Parsons is going to go out there and do it.
Not Michelle Irvin, not Michael Irwin. No, Kels, we understand. Yeah, it's just our twisted sense of humor here as we get into BMAC got a great question. Yes, I believe with the Mingo injury, with the Trayshawn Holden stock on the rise, if we see some Trayshawn Holden tonight, and my girl Kels, and she's in the comments letting us know how to get paid by the players, yeah, she'll be live with us telling us who will be playing tonight. But I firmly believe we see some Trayshawn Holden, his stock's on the rise. He potentially is going to be that wide receiver 3, as Mingo, was injured. He's going to be out for several weeks now going into the season. That opened up the slot. But yes, I am with you there. I think Trayshawn's stock is up on the rise. How are you feeling about that, Bob?
That's good. The other issue right here, and the problem with preseason, is that it's hard for a lot of these young kids to develop because you don't have your starter and they're throwing to them. With the inaccuracies Milton has had so far in this preseason, I think it's tough to even start thinking about developing another wide receiver. But really, that's why you need to just watch the receiver and see if he's running his routes correctly. Don't worry about whether the quarterback gets to him. That's what I was trying to say about preseason. It's such an evaluative thing that you just can't take any of it as a win or a loss. You need to understand that it's about evaluating whether they're doing their jobs correctly. So that's what I'm going to pay attention to today, because it's the last game that these young kids have in their career to show off to the country, because it's going to be on TV, that they're actually decent or whatever they want to show off. And then they're going to go back into the second and third string and not be known for a while. So as long as Milton is throwing well, I think our later receivers are going to benefit from that, because that's really just going to get them ready to play in the game. I don't want to see them have to learn during the season, because then we have to go through too many peaks and valleys. And the game already offers too many of those.
As we already heard, and in case you're just having in and didn't know, we'll talk more about who's starting, which players are playing tonight. But Shotty's already established that Milton will start again this week. So the question will be, if Holden is playing, can Milton get them the ball? Because, everybody's now drinking the Kool-Aid that, the Rocket throws it too hard, which, by the way, I got a clip that I'll pull up here in just a second. So how are you feeling about the Joe Milton scenario? Are you hitting the panic button like most Cowboy fans after 2 games, or should we do Will Grier this week?
This is the first real kind of practice that he's had with us. It's been a walk through shit, and then they go through practicing in practice, but it's not live. So it's just too hard to evaluate whether he's ready right now, man. I know that he has played in an NFL game, a regular season game, right? He's played for a team that didn't take bullshit. He understands what expectations are. So, and like you said before, he's a humble guy. He's not a big mouthy dude. So I think a lot of stuff can work for him. Throwing the ball too hard is really never an issue. A lot of quarterbacks have been that way. Excuse me. Aikman was that way. But at the same time, you've got to have the plays down. You got to have the fundamentals down. And who knows how many of those missed throws that he threw were actually because of the wide receiver or him.
Great segue. Let's just hear it from the Rocket's mouth.
Talk about the touch on your passes. Is that because your arm is so strong? Remember, it can't be said, hey, I can get balls there because of my arm. Because sometimes you have to feel like maybe instead of throwing the ball 100 miles an hour, maybe 85 miles an hour.
I feel like let's clear the air. I don't understand when people say, "Oh, I throw the ball so hard." Like, I'm literally not throwing the ball hard. It just come off my hand like that. I was born and blessed that way. So I feel like if you think I'm throwing the ball hard, then you shouldn't be in the NFL getting paid. There's some times where it'd be like, oh, it's not necessary. There's like 1 or 2 a game, but other than that, man, I'm not throwing the ball hard, man. It just come off my hand like that. I was born and blessed that way. So I appreciate God for that.
Woo! Haters, what you got to say about that? All the Joe Milton haters. Is he eating humble pie? Let us know in the comments below if you think Joe Milton ain't got no touch. As he explains, he ain't putting no sauce on that rocket. It's just naturally coming off his fingertips like that.
I believe that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can throw that ball so effortlessly far that's just got to be the case. He's not winding back and chucking that 60 yards. He's literally hitting it from about 6 inches behind his head like most quarterbacks, and it just flies so fast and far. So he's right. He's got a cannon. There's a reason why he's still in the league, is because he has that ability. It's just honing that to the point where he can be accurate and strong at the same time and know when to do one or the other. I haven't been sold on that yet. I've been frustrated watching him a little bit, but like I said, it's for me, someone who knows everything I just said still gets frustrated in preseason because I want to see Dallas win and do good. It's too hard to watch preseason. It doesn't work that way.
Maybe they can stop the run, as we had a soundbite from Sam Williams. He says a mouthful. You got to hear this, man. I can't even tell you. Listen to what Sam Williams said about the standards of the defense. I want to see it tonight versus Falcons, Sam.
How would you describe Eberflus's system and how easy it is to understand and grasp and come together with?
I feel like the main point of emphasis on his defense is be violent, and I feel like I'm pretty good at that. So, yeah.
Is there similarities to DQ? How similar is it to that unit? And what about Zimmer?
Honestly, playing a lot of football, I forgot because getting hit in the head, hitting people, I forgot about DQ's defense. So, I love this defense. I love it. I don't know. It's just we got violent standards. And just choke the man in front of you. Not literally.
Not literally, y'all.
I like how he threw that in there, not literally, because he knew BG's going to clip that, man. How do y'all feel about Slam Williams saying, can the Cowboys stop the run? We're going to get more in depth about this tonight. Even my girl Kels asked, you want to join us on the pregame show, Bob? You're more than welcome to come over there and join us as we talk Cowboys pregame show. But let us know in the comments below, what'd you think about that Sam Williams clip right there, Bob?
That's good stuff to hear, man. You don't hear that too. Everyone struggles real hard to be PC nowadays. And that's right. That's the reason why the term dog has become so big, because the league used to be full of dogs, but now it's a contrast situation. But yeah, I think Sam's that scary dude. He can break up a game too if he stays healthy. I think it's important to have someone like him say some shit like that.
He's causing fights at camp. He's getting told to sit down. He's telling you. You got to love the guys just being honest, as we got typical Cowboys fan in here with some honesty. Yeah, if you caught that like Dez, shots fired at DQ. He said, I don't really remember Dan Quinn's defense. That's why I was laughing when he said, I don't really remember. I be hitting people,
Yeah.
I thought that was clever how he slid that in there. Like, man, look, we on this Eberflus defense, screw Dan Quinn and them Commanders.
Yeah, because now more than anybody, not more than ever, these guys are trying to get you to slip up and say some weird shit that you didn't catch, so that they can put it out and spin it some other direction on the headlines. We see every one of our teammates have to go through that stuff. So, yeah, that was pretty quick. He caught that real quick and spun it out.
Well, good deal, man. Wanted to tap in here. Like I said, was originally going to tap into YouTube solo, and there's a whole story behind that, but never fails. We got it hooked back up to Facebook. My guy Bob hit me to it. Got a little teamwork, did the dream work this morning, so we were able to go live on Built Different Group here too as well. We appreciate you joining either on both channels or one channel. Shout out to all my YouTube subs. I know I really don't give y'all that much love because I'm always pulling my shenanigans on Facebook, but believe me, that's why we want to be live over here, so that way you can get access to the content below. Like I said, my Patreon link is down there. We got competitions going on. We got prizes given away. We got more drama in Dallas as we've negotiated today. The art of blockbuster negotiations. Look, if I told you Micah, the agent, and Jerry Jones were all in on the same play, would you think about this situation or this movie that we're watching with our popcorn? Would it make it more believable for you? And that's what I want y'all to think about as we gather that here today, because yeah, we're at the close of it, because normally, like Bob said, he's not the first player to delete his social media or delete his stuff off social media. That's kind of like, we know we're getting close to the final act, right, Bob? We're almost at the closing stage of this drama-filled movie, which is way better than Dak and CD. But Jerry not trading Micah. Maybe
Micah's movie before, y'all.
Yeah, Micah's frustrated as we see the pictures of him sitting in the chair on the sideline. Yeah, he wants to be out there with his guys. He is a competitor. He is a team player. And if you follow him on Instagram, they were playing ping pong. It looked like Micah was schooling Trayvon on ping pong in the locker room after he already said, I don't want to be with the Cowboys no more. You got to look into things, man. And that's what we try to get y'all to look into. But we want y'all to come back here at 4 p.m. on the West Coast to look into the Falcons Cowboys pregame, where my guy Bob said, I guess you'll be joining us, right, Bob?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Let's go, man. So make sure you rewind. Check out that intro video to give you some more context on the art of blockbuster negotiations. And if you haven't checked out that Netflix, like Bob has said, maybe Cowboy fans will grab some gems out of there and learn about this Dallas Cowboys business model Jerry's been everybody confused on. We'll see y'all live at 4 p.m. on the West Coast, baby. Falcons versus Cowboys. Let's go.
Turn out the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night, the party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.